But police work is very hard, both physically and emotionally. It was an ordinary day. Police officers Antonio and Giuseppe started their shift at the General Directorate of Police in Florence, Italy. They had no idea that they would soon become famous across Italy and even beyond its borders. It was a calm day in the department, and the officers received hardly any calls. Around lunchtime, however, they received a strange call asking for help. You would think that nothing could surprise seasoned law enforcement officers, but the call was truly unusual and puzzled the officers. It was their first time having to deal with something like this. The voice on the other end of the line said, "Hello, I know that I might have reached out to the wrong place, but I don't know what else to do. Can you help me? I am very hungry and have not eaten for several days." This is what the officers heard. Antonio and Giuseppe were both surprised and looked at each other. In their years of service, this was the strangest call they have ever received. Be that as it may, but a police officer's job is to help all those who need it. We don't know how other officers would have acted in their shoes, but Antonio simply said, "We received your message. What is your address?" 10 minutes later, the uniformed officers arrived at the scene and knocked on the door. The front door looked old and shabby, which indicated that the apartment's inhabitants were not rich. In a few seconds, their suspicions were confirmed. A thin and exhausted 87-year-old woman opened the door. In a weak and quiet voice, the woman said, "Hello, my name is Luisa Bruno. My arm hurts a lot after an injury. I'm hungry, but I can't cook anything for myself. I didn't know who to turn to, so that's why I called the police." The woman was visibly tired and on the verge of tears. You could tell that she knew that her request was strange. Luisa's words shocked the partners. They looked at each other and decided to take action. Giuseppe entered Luisa's apartment and looked inside the refrigerator. It contained some food, but it wasn't enough to prepare a full meal. It was decided that Antonio would run to the nearby store and buy groceries, while Giuseppe would stay behind and begin working in the kitchen. After Antonio returned from the store, the policeman began cooking an impressive lunch for the old lady. They bought her groceries with their own money. While they were cooking, the men asked Luisa why she was living alone and had no caretaker given her old age. That's when she shared with them her sad story. She said, "I never thought that I would end up in such a situation. Of course, now I feel awkward and even a bit embarrassed. I have a caretaker, but he hasn't come in several days. I thought I would be okay on my own. But once I started cooking, I realized that I can't do it because of the pain in my arm." The woman also said that she had a son who lives far away. She didn't want to call him and decided to try and handle everything on her own. But unfortunately, nothing good came out of this idea. The kind-hearted police officers listened to the woman and cooked. In half an hour, everything was ready. They made delicious ravioli with tomato sauce, a light salad, and warm tea. The policemen knew that the woman could not handle living on her own and needed help. They decided to call her son and explain the situation. Her son turned out to be kind, caring, and understanding. He responded to the call quickly, but it took time before he could arrive at his mother's because he lived on the other side of Italy. While her son was on the way, the police officers decided not to leave the old woman alone. The next morning, they visited her and cooked her a delicious breakfast before their shift at the station. Of course, the officers could have simply ignored the woman because it is not their responsibility to handle such cases. But as they themselves later said, "One day, all of us will be old, and we hope that others will treat us the same way." Around lunchtime the following day, the woman's son arrived to take care of her. He was very touched and surprised by the actions of the policemen. He could not believe that two cops would come and cook for a stranger. Even more surprising was that they used their own money to buy groceries and even cooked before going to work on the following day. He was shocked, to say the least. He went to the department in which Antonio and Giuseppe worked in order to thank them personally. He talked to local journalists and said, "The world is not without kind people. I hope that everyone will do something kind for others without thinking about it, even if the actions carry no tangible benefits to themselves." He also published the story on his Facebook page, and it went viral in just a few days. People expressed their gratitude and respect for the Florence police once they found out about their actions. The officers responded with a few comments. Antonio said, "Each officer sometimes finds him or herself in an unconventional situation, but journalists don't write about each one of those instances. I don't think my partner and I acted heroically. We just acted kindly. It's not at all hard to do good deeds." It turned out that the uniformed officers had worked for the police for a long time. During their service, they have proven to be responsible workers who are respected by their coworkers. Giuseppe said, "In this difficult time of political disputes, epidemics, and economic difficulties, we as police officers must not only work responsibly, but also help those citizens who need our assistance and support. At that moment, my partner and I were only thinking about helping the old woman. We didn't think about popularity or recognition. The kindness of these police officers surprised the public and reminded them that there are many good people in the world and that it doesn't take too much effort to help others. Sometimes, all it takes is cooking some food. One medic commented that considering Louise's age and the fact that she hadn't eaten for several days, it is possible that the police officers actually saved her life. Later, the officers received an award from the leadership of police for their impeccable work and for remaining kind and open people no matter what. This simple story demonstrates that it's not hard to be a hero. Sometimes all it takes is not to be ambivalent towards someone else's problems and misfortune. Even the most basic and simple act can have a positive impact on the life of another person.